Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. And in this today's session, we'll be learning about YML. Yes, you'll be learning YML in a very, very easy way. And it's a crash course, so I'll be showing you how to do it and uh, all the syntaxes, all the variables, everything I'll be covering. So let's see who are there. So, hey Sharnavo. Okay, one, thank you, Sandip. While making the content, okay, I have already included Kubernetes. So, yeah, that's covered. And one goes that here saying, second, I teach from scratch so that non-IT guys who don't know YAML, yes, it's designed that way. Good. I think everyone joining and gradually they will joining, so it's fine. So I will get started with the session. Okay. And anyone, if suppose they miss it, they can rewatch it. Like, they can always rewatch. It's a YouTube live session, right? So you can come back to YouTube channel and watch it again. Okay. So in this session, we'll be covering what exactly is YML and of course the use cases. I'll go just overview and then we'll go deep in the later slides. Okay. Then how to write YML because that's the one of the most important. Like you know what is YML, but how to write it, how to properly write it and test it and all. I'll be going through all that. Okay. And what are the YML data types? Yes, that's also important. JSON, you guys might already know and used in your application. For some, maybe they have also used the YML, and for some, it will be like they have never used the YAML. And if you're a DevOps engineer, I think you already might have tried YAML, be it Kubernetes, be it in the say Docker, be it in the say Ansible. There are a lot of use cases to be honest. So we'll be going through all that also, and of course I will show you like how is different from JSON. That's also very important because someone might think that we already have JSON. I mean that's pretty working good for many websites and all. Why we should go and like try to learn this YML hard way from the beginning because for you might be you have never used the YML. If you used, it's good, but some not just some, it's many cases that people never even touch it because they fear it. But actually, there is no reason to fear YML. Let me just clarify for you. And while going through the course, anyway, you will see that it's so easy that you could have tried any more time before. That way, okay? And I see everyone joining. It's great. And you already started the session. So keep going. And if you have any doubts about anything, keep commenting. So at the end, I will go through each of your questions and I will answer that. Okay. Okay. Now, yes. After that, I will cover the real life use cases example with Kubernetes, GitHub Actions, AWS code build, code deploy, and Ansible also. Okay. And then I will show you how to use Python to read the YAML data. I mean, there will be not just one, but many instances that you need to read the YAML, maybe some value checking, maybe some fact checking, maybe some syntax checking, could be whatever it is. Okay, you might want to read the YAML file. If you're doing programmatically, of course, suppose even if you're a DevOps engineer, you might have to you have to write a script to check the validity or check the authenticity of the YAML file. So you can do that. How can you do that? I'll be showing you that as well. So yes, now the very first thing, I mean, you might have already heard about like what is YML and all. Let me do a minor thing. Maybe it's getting cut off. So yes, now it's good. So what exactly is the YML? Okay. So YML stand for YAML Ain't Markup Language. Actually, it was not like that. Previously, it was calling like yet another markup language. But the developer of this particular language, they told okay, since they are emphasizing more on the data part, I'll be coming why. That's the reason they have named it as a YML, that is YML Ain't Markup Language. Okay, so yeah, it's a serialization language that has steadily increased in popular over last many few years, and it's often used as a format for configuration files. But its object serialization abilities make it very good replacement for a JSON also. Now, why a configuration file? Why not a JSON? Like normally, why you use JSON, right? You develop your APIs or some other developer have developed their APIs and to get the like to give the response and to ingest or phase a response and utilize it as a common data structure or data, you can say data medium. We use JSON so that I don't know what the programming language they used, what the data structure used, whatever it is, they will send as a response in JSON and we'll get the JSON, we'll pass in maybe as a dictionary or maybe as a object, whatever is the method you use, and then we'll be using that. Then why then YML? So there is a specific use case. It's mainly used for the configuration and not for the API. So in usual cases, there might be cases where very rare, but in general cases, you still need JSON to for the data transaction. So you are sending the data, you are sending the post data JSON, and if you are getting the response, there is JSON. Anyway, well, comparing these two, I'll be explaining more. But for now, this enough. Now, yes, so YML have varieties of language support. Yes, you heard it right. So each and every language support the YML, and let me just quickly show you what this support looks like. So let me quickly show you guys. So if you go to a site called yaml.org, that's their official website. Yes. So if you go to the yaml.org, you will see its support. Like it's about native module support as well as external library support as well for every single language. You name it: JavaScript, Java, Haskell, Golang, Erlang, like Dirt, C Sharp, C++, Swift, Shell, Rust, whatever the language you think of, all language support the parsing of YAML and converting the data to either dictionary or whatever the data type you want it. Actually, whatever data type you want, you can convert to the data type. It's possible. So what I'm trying to say that yes, you have full support for YAML in each and every programming language. That's why it's more acceptable, right? Now let me go back to the our presentation again. So yes, now, yes, so YAML have variety language support and map easily into native data structure, what I just told you. And it also very easy for the humans to read. Now, you're already like seeing here, right, in this particular example, that's how YAML document look like. I'll be coming to the syntax and every part, but just look at it, like how easy it is. Like you don't have to have like that codes or any special kind of brackets, nothing. Like a simple line by line, you can see it's very good formatted, and I'll be coming why and why what actually what it is like. What is the data structure? I'll be explaining everything, but just see how clear it is. Okay, that's a YML file. Now in this YML file, if you see that it's very easy to read and very easy to write as well. So if you're not a programmer, so why even this YML came? It's came because some operation teams can come, like what DevOps call, right? It's development and operation team work together. Okay, and here operation team might not know the programming language, and so it's quite possible, right? Would have to learn the programming language to do all this system, the configuration modification? It's not sound right, isn't it? So that's, I think, one of the reason why I developed the YML. So it's more human readable. Even a non-IT guy can read it very, very easily. It's human readable than a JSON. If I show you the JSON, many find it difficult to understand, even edit something. Okay, but it's YML. It's very easy. So one can just get the file, edit something, and upload it or push it or process it. Whatever they want, they can do it. So that's one of the very important reason why people are using the YAML. Always remember that. Okay. Now, yeah. Now, YML is a superset of JSON. I mean, we talked about JSON, the YML. Now, JSON, I'll be coming what it is and how it's getting used and all. But think of what are the function that JSON has. Some of it's actually copied to YML as well. Why, I'll be coming, no worries. But just remember that YML is actually a superset of JSON, kind of. You can say more human-readable version of the JSON. Okay? Also, you can tell it, and you can always convert the YML data into JSON very easily. Okay, so remember that. Now, what are the use cases? Now, YAML, again, I already told you, right? So YAML actually used for the configuration file. Could be Kubernetes configuration, could be GitHub action configuration, could be say Ansible playbook configuration, the playbook role writing, could be AWS code bean and code commit configuration file. If you have worked with any technologies, okay, you might have already used the YAML thing. Maybe you just followed their examples and all. You never actually go through all the detail what exactly is YAML and how to write, how to process. If you have done that, it will have been a lot easier to work with this configuration file, isn't it? Like you don't know YAML, you change some configuration, you have a fear something might go wrong, something is not going right, or something you might mess up. But if you know the YAML really well, you have so much confidence you can make changes in any configuration file, be it Kubernetes, be it your the GitHub Actions, be it your Ansible, be it your say proprietary file, like proprietary CI/CD files, configuration files. So you can do all that, right? Now I talked about AWS and these technologies because I worked mostly with them, and I can, if you have any questions, I will definitely be able to answer that. I worked with Azure as well, but not that as much, just one or two projects. But there also you are using for the configuration of file writing, will be using the YAML files only. Okay. Now you got the basic idea what exactly YAML. Again, just to keep it short, YAML is a serialized language, just like JSON, but more human readable. So it's invented, or you can say it's used for only purpose of configuration file or similar kind of things. to make sure that it's human readable and people can easily read it and edit it. That is the primary goal. Now, since we have learned that, now let's jump to how to write a YAML file. I think that's one of the basic questions you might guys might already have from the beginning. So before even jumping to writing part, okay, what you should be considering, that point to be note actually before writing. So YAML is again data serialization language designed to be directly writable and interacting with the humans. So that means it can be non-tech or tech guys. They should be able to read it and edit it without much complexity. Okay. Now, I already show you guys what is the particular YAML that .org that site. That site actually holds the latest configuration, latest build practices, latest libraries list. So let me just show you guys again so that you guys can actually refer to. So this is the site actually you guys want to check. So if you go to YAML.org, you'll see again the full form YAML ain't markup language. Now YAML is the human-friendly data. Their definition itself. Okay, YAML is the human-friendly data serialization language for all programming languages. Now this is the resource references. This is the say what are the supportability available. Everything else is mentioned here. If you want to refer something for like any libraries for a programming language that you want to utilize this YAML libraries for parsing, for writing, and reading, whatever it is, you can refer to this particular website. Okay. Now let me go back to the presentation again. So here you can see that YAML is a case sensitive. So you have to see like you always want to mention or keep the syntax in check, because if you do some like it's case sensitive. So if you do wrong anything anywhere, it might you might get the error. And people actually who start like the beginning, they face a lot of error for this particular reason. Now, one of the more important part, the indentation, because since you don't have the braces and all, like no third brackets and no second brackets, like normal JSON you have, like for the array we have third bracket, for the object notation we have the second brackets, but here is no such cases. Here you have like you can, of course you can, as I say, it's a superset of JSON, so you can obviously can, and how I will show you, but it's more of the that you don't have, you should not go for that part. That's the reason why it's developed to make it easy. Now for that particular reason, you have to like somehow you have to say, okay, this is the object, this is list, this is string, this is nested objects, you have to mention, right? For that particular thing, they are utilizing indentation or spaces. Okay. And I will coming to how to maintain all this. It's not very easy to keep every indentation on point, so I'll be coming to that as well. So always make sure that if you're writing a YAML or like YAML file in general, you can have two kind of extensions: .yaml and .yml. And again, many people have many differences. I have already checked in their official site also, so you can use either or. It's more or less same. Okay, you don't have to go that depth of differentiation. You can write in either extension, all will work fine. Now, before again jumping to writing, you must make sure that you have very good IDE, your editor. I personally suggest that VS Code, because I actually used to first at the Atom, but after started using the VS Code, I so loved that one and I ditched the Atom. So yes, personal suggestion, again, it's my personal opinion. You should go with the VS Code, and let me show you VS Code what you should be doing. Okay, let me show you pretty quick. So let me quickly check this one. Okay, so that's my sample project. Okay, YAML crash course, and I'll be sharing the repo link maybe tomorrow along with the document, so that will be easy for you. Now, if it's a VS Code, okay, and for Atom also you can search it or whatever editor you're utilizing, you can go to Google and search for a YAML plugin. Now, for you, if you're a like VS Code user like me, you can go to a plugin section. See these extensions there. Just look for single thing YAML, and the very first one you will see from Red Hat is the most famous one, is getting used by 73 lakh people, so it should be good. Okay, and just simply install it and it will like, integrate very easily, so that if you come to the say any of the configuration file that I've written, let me show you any like full example. I'll come to what is what, but think about that very sample one. I have sample, I will explain what I've done here. So it's highlight the syntax, and if you're doing anything wrong, it will say something wrong happening, it will highlight that point as well. So that's the reason I highly suggest, if you're writing YAML file, install that YAML plugin that I've shown using the that extensions. So extension and such with YAML. That's how you install that and start utilizing it. That's how easy it is. Now let me come back to the basic syntax, and then I will show you hands on how to write and how what is what. That's the important part, right? So very like you already understand what are the basic things, the point you should consider before writing a YAML file, and how should be your dev setup. So VS Code or Atom, that's the most preferred one. Again, I prefer the VS Code, and YAML plugin or linter, whatever you call it, you should install that, so that if you're doing any mistake and the formatting and everything, you can maintain. So it will highlight you. That's the most important part. And now the basic syntax, how you should be writing it. So basic part is actually to start with three dash. Okay, so very beginning of the file it should start with three dash. Then you can write actually two way, so intended block and the inline block. But say inline block is somewhat looks like JSON, isn't it? See the part I told you, it's superset of JSON coming to it, right? So yeah, that's not preferred way. Preferred way is the intended block, so it's more human readable and it's easy to edit and do all that stuff. Even if you're not tech people, it will be easy for you. Okay, and then which come to the variable assigning, not variable, also value assigning. You can just simply put a single value or single list of items or single objects. Okay, you can do that. And you can give the named value like sample key, whatever's the key name, say name, age, or whatever it is. Then in the value section, you can see 20, like say my age is 30, so I'll give 30. My name is Sandip Das, so I'll give my name is Sandip Das. Okay, and suppose you want to have list of array items, like array item, what is happened, suppose say you have laptops, say you have four laptops, so four laptops, different models and all. And if you want to fetch that one, like you want to define that data in the YAML file, how will you do it? You have to use the dash. See, I've given 1, 2, 3, 4 and sample string. That's how you can give the dash and give the value. So that will become the item array. Similar way, suppose you want that the each array item should be array of objects or dictionary. You can also just dash it and then give two parameters. Say for that, say laptop, you have laptop, just the laptop example. You have laptops. In that you have say MacBook, like name is the MacBook, model is 2021, say, and the chipset is say M1 Max or M1 Pro. This is how the way you should be giving. So as for example, say we have listed dictionaries developers, where it's a list actually. If you see that it's a name list, name list of array objects. So named, you can see name is Sandip Das, age 30. Similar way, James Smith, age 54, and it's kind of the name and age is a inside a object, and similarly another name and age is another object. So two object inside a array. How can you define it? Given the dash. Okay. Now, if you go up, you'll see the how the simple definition of the simple. Like suppose you are giving key values, name Sandeep. In the root itself, name and value. That's called dictionary. Suppose you want to have a name dictionary. Okay, say my profile. So let's say the developer profile is a, say the simple directory, call it developer profile. And then in developer profile you have skills, then skills under you have list. You can have say assets, you can give the assets. So similarly you can configure. Again, in the hands-on demo is coming very soon. Like after this busy explanation I will be showing you hands-on, it will be much easier. Okay, you can of course, like instead of writing intended way, you can write as a day, you can give inline. So in flow style you can give like simple dict, then the then the key, then that's basically separator, and then the key values just like mentioned here. Now this is good way explanation, the basic part, but let's do the hands-on, so it will be much more easier. Okay, so let me show you quickly. Let's come back to the screen here. So you can see, let me actually make it bigger. I think that will be better for you guys. Okay. So we have a sample.yml file here. Start of the file, again, the three dash, that's how we started. And then we can give the comment like this hash. See, one of the biggest difference I'll be coming, but in the JSON, you cannot give any comment. Okay. You cannot give any comment. But that actually we have overcome in the YAML. It's great, right? So yeah. So YAML, we can give comments like hash. Say I want to give the name parameters. Okay, say just what is the name. Okay, so name, it's Sandeep Das. Let's say age is, I think I mistake here, so let's make it age 30. Let's say, and city is Kolkata. Say skills, you can see what first name I have given the codes, right? But in YML, it's okay. You can give the course, and you don't have to give a course like City Kolkata or skills. I'm giving the data, so it's optional. You can give it, you cannot give it. When is mandatory give a this kind of course? Suppose you are utilizing some special characters. On that cases, it's recommended to use the course. That will be better. Okay. Otherwise, you might face syntax error in somewhere, right? So it's better to use the course if you are using special character. But if you're not, you can simply give like value like this Kolkata skills. I will be coming there. Now, yes, so simple object key. You can sort the dictionary key name, and the name is Sandeep Das, value part is Sandeep Das. So this is the key and this is the value. This is the key and this is the value. So these are the key value pairs. Okay, in JSON also you can just keep key value pairs. Same here. So in sampler YAML, in any YAML file, it's more or less the key and value. Now the key here is name and the value is Sandeep Das. The key is here age and the value is 30. The key is city, the value is Kolkata. Key is skills. Now skills is a very special one. Why? Because it's an array or list item. Again, why we need array? So we have multiple similar kind of data. Okay, multiple or cluster of similar kind of data. You want to keep under same variable or same kind of architecture, or not architecture, just gonna say data type. So it's a array data type where you can have cluster of similar data. Okay. Now say skills. Okay, and any engineer, any developer have a lot of skills, right? Say DevOps, programming, say communication, say marketing, whatever the skills they have. So it's common category skills, isn't it? So under skills, then we are giving this particular thing. See the dash. So give a space to space, or again use editor to define that. That will be great. Then give space, then dash, and then give space. Down this next space also have to give. Some cases is required. Then like mention the value, and again if you're using special character, then give like this, and if you're not using any special character, remove it. But you cannot keep it like you've given and then you didn't given anything. That will cause an error here. Okay, so don't do that mistake. So this is a array or list of items, and we can define a list of items. Again, this simply the key part is same. See, key part is same, name, age, and all. We are giving separate value, like separate a symbol, and then special here we are after that giving enter, and there we're giving space and dash again space, then the item name. Item name can be a lot of things. I'll be coming to there, but you just understand the part how you're defining an array here. Key, then enter, then the dash, then the values. Okay, you might have hundreds of this kind of array item. You can give it. Okay, now the nested object. Now here you can see it's a list item or array item. Now whatever the nested object or object in general. So here is the object. Okay, simple object or dictionary you can call it. Okay, simple dictionary, nested dictionary. So say I have a laptop model. Okay, so I have to say just for example I have a single laptop model and it has a some attributes. Okay, so I have a laptop. That laptop, now it's inside laptop. Okay, it's laptop object. Then inside laptop there is a name is MacBook Pro, model is 2021, and chip is M1 Max. Okay, so this is how I'm defining the laptop here. Laptop is a object. So laptop object have a name MacBook Pro, laptop object have a model 2021, laptop object they have a chipset that is M1 Max. So it's key is that a particular object, and the value is the nested dictionaries. Okay, just like any dictionary used in general or JSON you use general. If one object has some lot of attributes, same way. So it's object, laptop object, and has this many attributes or key values. Okay, now this is how you define the object. Now you can have even like nested. So object, inside that you have object, and again inside that you have object. This is the one example. Okay, so I have, it's actually a simple example. So here you can see I have cars. So I can have two cars, three cars. Okay, I can have many cars. So I have cars, and that particular car has like, say, the cars have common attributes. Okay, in multiple, again multiple cluster kind of things we can put inside an array. So card array, then in card array we have multiple cars. Then in the multiple cars, like in the array object, we have the model. So again, array, inside there multiple items or objects, then that's a model object. Inside model object we have like what is the color of the like attribute of the particular object. So first attribute is color is red and name is Maruti Desire. So I have a car which is Maruti Desire. So I can have two cars. Okay, I can have a two cars. So say for example I have one card, just because in this example I've given one. Similarly, suppose I have another card, so I can give like this. So let's go down. I have another card. So first card is a model, then color is red and name is Suzuki. Second model again, color is say dark and name is say Tata Nexon EV. Okay, just for example I'm giving. Okay, so that right now I have two cards. So it's a array item. Array item have objects, not strings. If in case of normal string like this, but in this case we're mentioning a add object. Okay, this is the way of mentioning object, right? But if you have a object array array, so then array, this is how you mention this array items, right? So first item is model, then inside model the key attributes are color red and name desired. Similarly, next item or the second item here, so second item is again same, first name the model, the key name is actually model, then the attributes inside the model is color dark and name direction ev. Okay, so this is how you can give the nested array of objects, you can call it. So array of objects, you can have in an array, you can have multiple objects. Okay, now this goes to the like array and dictionary, fine, right? Now we have the boolean values. So is married, yes. Suppose like you're not married, so you can give it no or false. Similarly, has child, yes, I have one daughter, so I can say true. Suppose you don't have, you can give either false or no. Okay, so these are the how you can mention the boolean type values. Okay, now the see here we have given this kind of formatting independent, right? You can actually utilize the JSON way. Now you know the JSON way, right? The JSON web key and value, and this is the object, right? Similar way we can give a array also. So sequence array, say 3 2 1, yes, working. So this is the way you can define the array item in JSON way. Again, the moment I say it's a superset of JSON, that means you can use some methods like this inside YAML as well. Okay, now in this part, see this part, this greater than sign. So suppose you have lot of text, okay, but it has to be single line. But mentioning all that text, okay, in a single line is very unreadable. It's not human friendly, right? Now, very good way in the YML is that if you use this particular symbol, we call it folded block. So in the folded block, using the greater than sign, you can actually write a lot of things. Now while showing, I will show you how, like when using the Python parser, how it show the data. So showing, it will come as a single line only. The where I give the enter, it will become space. That's the only part here. Okay, so wherever I give the enter to make the formatting well, in those places it will come as the space. Similar way, we have a literal block. Okay, in this block we are using the pipe sign. Now why the pipe sign? Say it's called multi-line string or a literal block, so that however you have formatted, however given the enter or anything, same way it will be printed, or it will be, the value will come that way. So I've given enter, then we have a special character called /n that will come in the text. Okay, so suppose you are showing, we want to show this like birthday data and showing on your website, just for example I'm showing. Okay, then if you go this way using you parse the heading value, and it will say come as a like single line. Okay, but if you use the pipe sign, what however I have formatted like this, right, it will come exactly the same way. Okay, I will be coming to these two in the next slide. Okay, so let's come back to the presentation again, so you understand the basic syntax how I'm writing a YML file. Now let's go to the next slide. So that is actually related to the same thing. That's why I need to cover this one first. So yes, how many data types YAML have? It's just like JSON or any common median data types. YAML also support all that basic things, but also the advanced stuffs as well. For example, it supports the integer, it supports the float, it supports the say the boolean values, it's of the date formatting. So it support most of the data types. It's also support the advanced data types such as say array. I've shown you how it should be like the dash and then the values. Okay, and it supports the, you can see here the array of objects, just like I've explained a lot. I think I've given too much time explaining that one. You can have nested array of objects, that also you can give. So you can have this kind of value at sets. And there is one special thing actually, since I've already explained that, I'll explain one more thing here. This some, you can see some like variable referencing. Suppose in a large YAML file, you already define some value. Now you want to reutilize that value in some other keys, other fields, or maybe anywhere. Okay, you can do that really easily using the this particular YAML anchors analyze. We call it anchor analyze. What is the anchor? So giving that and sign, give the anchor. So it will like kind of variable storage in YAML. Okay, it will store the value. And suppose I want to use that particular variable value again. Okay, in say another keys or another, say anywhere in the YAML, I want to utilize that. For that, I'll be using the alias or the giving a star sign. Okay, so let me show you in the code. That will be much easier, I think. Okay, so let's come here. So you can see at the very end somewhere that I'm given that some variable reference, and now you can define these things as the way you like. I have defined this way. You don't have to give the same variable name. You can define it the way you like. Okay, now see, I have given the somewhere. Now it can be a variable, any key name that you define. I have just given the somewhere name here, and this is actually the main variable here. And sign is the anchor, and some var ref is actually the variable referencing. So this is the variable, and this is the value. Okay. Now I want to use this variable in some other keys. Just below that, I've given another key here, some var value referencing, just to make sure it's more readable. And then I want to use this variable value. So whatever the value of this one, I want to give the value for this particular key exactly same. Okay. I will simply say star is aliasing this particular variable name. See, some var reference, and this is how we are here. We are saying this variable value is test value, whatever the value defined. Similarly, this values this key's value also the same thing, the test value, if we are referring to this particular variable. Okay, so this is the why you are, suppose you are have a lot of a big YAML file and you want to reuse the existing keys values. Okay, you can utilize this way. Okay, now let's go back to the presentation and let's come back here. So very I think this is a very uh, common question, but before going that, let me see if you have guys have any question. So oh my god, you have a lot of questions. It's good. I can see a lot of question. Now I'll be coming to all that. Let's just simply close that one first. Okay. And then we will go through all that. Okay. Let me just set up the things. Okay. So now we'll learn about the what is uh, what is the differences between or the similarities between the JSON and YAML. And this is very important one, because suppose you're going to any interview, and in my past, I will not say all interview, but many interviews got this question, and since I know the answer, it was the kind of piece of cake for me. But suppose you don't know, that might be a bigger problem. Okay? This is a basic question you should know. Okay, if you're working as a DevOps engineer, if you're an experienced engineer, in that case, these are the question you should know. Answers you should know, not the question. Both maybe. Okay, so fine. Now, what is the JSON? Now, that is the first question you might have if you are not familiar with JSON. So, JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation, okay? And it's a lightweight format for storing and transporting data, often used when the data is sent from one server to another server, or say any API like the client and the server. So, client, say mobile application or any front end web application, want some data from the client, maybe login authentication, maybe some user list, maybe some whatever the data. Okay, suppose you want from the backend or the backend API, it will come as the JSON data in general. Now, program to program, so another, you have multiple inter-program, you can call it interconnected programs. Could be say one service in Python, one service could be in JSON, could be anything. Okay, it can be as crazy as you can think of. But each of these particular programming services or backends have their own data structure. Okay, how they're handling data in Python, it could be something different in the say Java, it could be different in the Go, it could be different in the JavaScript. but they need some way to have a common standard of data format so that it can pass the data. So in the backend application or API, I should get a data format in some format that again that the front end can use that. Or suppose front get the or fetch the data from a backend API or any service that a mobile application can make a use of. Okay, if it's very complicated and unreadable, there is no point of then having a backend API to fetch the data, right? So for that particular reason, we have a common data response format like JSON. Now, there actually previously it was XML, but or you can say the SOAP was very popular at the time. It was so complicated. People actually wanted so badly something like something readable, something easier. That's why we have the JSON right now. But previously, actually, we even say before YML, it was only JSON and XML. Now, JSON writing and JSON utilizing of JSON as a configuration becomes so complicated. You cannot use comments, you cannot use the you can say some say without code it will throw error, and there's some other you can say problem was there, which is the reason we had a need of similar like something like YAML, which is why YAML actually somewhat invented and people use that YAML this particular file for all their configuration. See, in the DevOps example, now I will be coming to the use cases, but most of the DevOps tools use the for configuration part use the YAML or YAML file, isn't it? I mean, you know that too, right? So that's the reason. Now here is a sample JSON file you can see in the this particular site that say name. I think it can very bad because the name should be the name and the series Kolkata skills could be DevOps, cloud programming, kind of that work. Okay, so any JSON you can see JSON part it is in the second brackets, and then for the array we are utilizing the third brackets, and then we have to make sure, and it's a must, if it's not an integer or boolean we have to give the quotes. Okay, so the restriction was too much, right? Now that's the one of the reason it was not so human friendly. It was developer friendly could be, but it was not a human friendly thing for if it's an operation person who would have never used programming or something like that. It's very hard for them to make any modification in the data structure, and it's a problem. Okay, the DevOps context was like the everything is everyone's responsibility in general. Dev should be easily able to communicate with the operation team, and operation should be able to give feedback the data and everything, right? And suppose there is a operation team has to write some configuration. If it's a very complicated thing, and that person might not be that much skilled in JSON or something other configuration like say XML, which is very tough anyway. So uh, for them it will be harder, right? But now with coming the YML, it becomes so human friendly, like human readable and user friendly. They can actually make like suppose they want to make a key or say any configuration changes, it's easy for them right now using the YML. So that's the one of the reason. Now let's go through one by one all the differences. Okay, so YML comments are denoted with a hash or a number sign. Okay, in the JSON comments are not allowed at all. Now hierarchy is denoted using the double space character, tab character are not allowed. But now I think with the latest their integration, it's now allowed. Okay. Now objects and arrays are denoted in the braces and brackets. You already seen that. Just in this example. Okay. String quotes are optional unless using special character, but it supports single and double quote. So yes, YML support both single quote and double quote, and you just don't want to give it, don't give it. If you are not using special characters, okay, we have to look at what special character you're utilizing, and that is any problem in the YML, then you can utilize it. Okay, yes, for JSON, string must have to be double quote, otherwise you will get JSON error. Okay, the root node can be any valid data types. Yes, any. If you want, say string, if you want a number, all are possible. But in JSON, root node must be either an array or object. Otherwise, it will throw a error. Okay. So these are the main differences. But the as a user point, as a developer point of view, or a operation, say the DevOps point of view in general, YML is much more human friendly than a JSON, and that's the universal truth. That's the reason we are still utilizing for Kubernetes on other places, just like the first slide for using the YAML, right? So I'll be coming to that part just now. So the use cases, real life use cases. So, but before that, actually, let me quickly check if the any comments that are what are made. I think that will be a good thing to check now. Okay, so I'll quickly check any issues. Any good question? So yeah, if you can keep the question coming. If something very important to this, so it's the puncture thing or the difference. I think you just got the answer right now. I've explained it very well, I guess. Since I came from a web development ground, I have mainly used YAML file in documentation. Yes, for documentation also, since it's human friendly and all, you can utilize that. It's good. So apart from there, what will be the use cases anyway? So yeah, you already like I'll be coming to the use cases anyway. Just the next slide. It's mostly the Kubernetes, Ansible, or any DevOps tool these days. Actually, preferring as a configuration writing as YAML instead of JSON. Okay, I'll be coming to that. Can you explain the that greater than sign? So suppose you have a big, you can say big text, okay, and it has to be single line. Okay, it's like not new line, a big text, a single line. In that case, you should give that that particular greater than sign, and then you can give enter. But while the output comes, say in your browser or in other places you want to utilize it, it will come as a single line. I will show you while I will show the Python example part or parsing the data and showing in the terminal, then we'll understand even better. Okay. So referencing is simple concept of pointer in programming. Exactly. Once you said, you're right. What is the use of single quotes and double quotes? Yeah, both single quotes and double quotes are allowed. There is, even if you don't want to use the environment, don't use it. Okay, it's completely optional. So it's the one saying single quotes will be use a character, although I'm not. Yeah, so exactly there is no such limit. You can utilize the single quote and double quote. Even if you don't want to use it for the simple text, you don't have to use it. Yes, only the case if you are utilizing some special character, then only you should be utilizing a single or double quote. That's important here. We'll be able to give clarity on this. Yes, so it's clear, I guess. So I have one more question. If YML is more human readable, then why don't you use for the web application development? That's a good thing. See, YML is human friendly. That's true. But what is the programming friendly? Think that way. When you are thinking on the development or application development, see in the development for the configuration you utilize the YAML. For the common data medium we use the JSON. In the JSON, you don't need to give extra spaces. Extra space means extra characters. Remember, just try to remember or just try to process the thought here like that. I'm giving extra spaces, that means it's extra character. But if it's a JSON, we can strip all the extra spaces and we can compact the response the way you like. You can gzip the data and then you can compress the data format and send it. But in YML, if you remove the spaces, it's going to be syntax error. So one of the reason I feel that it's not yet utilizing as a common data medium. It's using as a configuration language. It's fine, but still it's not so acceptable as a common data medium. Common data medium has to be programming into like programming say it's a data format that acceptable every other places. Now JSON have the part previously it was so as I said, but it was quite complicated and complex architecture. With the JSON help, it was become easy for the developers to actually parse the data and then utilize as say their dictionary. You can pass a dictionary in Python. So your Node.js or JavaScript, you can pass an object. You can do all that. Okay, so for the programming part, it's easier in the JSON. For the human, whenever there is a human interaction coming, so programming is not human interaction. You are everything defining via code. You are writing a JSON. You're first writing into object, then you are converting the object into JSON string, and then you are sending the response to the say via the API to a other web front-end web application, or say maybe that third-party web application, or say a mobile application, or whatever it is. Okay, on any client to be honest. But for the YML, you're not sending to any client or anything because again, extra character you want to like programming. You have to save the data transaction as much as possible. You have to make sure it's fast data transaction, fast parsing time. JSON is actually that parsing time is faster than YML. Okay, so that's one of the reason why yet in programming, it's JSON is actually getting preferred over the YML. Okay. So one question that it can be used for automating the release. Yes, of course. Can we get document for reference? Yes, I'll be sharing tomorrow. Okay. Okay, I think I covered. Now let's come back to our example, real life example. Okay. So in this real life example, let me just hide the comment. Okay. Now in this real example for Kubernetes, okay, let's say Kubernetes. In Kubernetes, if you're not in Kubernetes Pro, don't worry. Okay, this is just for example. I am planning for a Kubernetes full depth session within the next few months, because I have to first complete the DevOps full course for Go Cloud Architects. Then I'll start my own videos. Otherwise, not live session. I don't have to edit. That's the reason I'm doing. So yeah, now for Kubernetes part, don't have to worry. Simply focus on what I'm saying here. Okay. So say Kubernetes have see the how the data getting formatted. Okay. So API version one, then kind is pod, and then metadata is name is nginx for leveling, and for spec. Now spec part is the most important. Where is the most configuration part? We're saying what has to be run and how it's going to run. That's that. Okay. So container name is nginx, and the container name is nginx. Just to say, and it's what? It's a object, like or object you can say spec, then inside spec container is an object. Okay. And spec is also object or dictionary. Container here itself is a array item. So spec is dictionary or object. Inside that there is a attribute containers. Inside that, so and the container is the array item. So that's why there is a dash getting used. Okay, that's the reason we are using the dash. And then inside the array, first item is an object or a dictionary. Okay, which the first attribute is the name nginx. Second attribute is the image, that is nginx whatever version you're utilizing, or if you want the full path of the image you can mention here. Ports. Now again, what is a port? Port is a another array. Okay, port is inside the containers. There's a first item is the that particular item. The name is nginx, image is nginx, whatever version, whatever it is. Ports, another attribute. So port is a array attribute. So that's the reason you are again utilizing a dash. So there you are giving the first array item, and you are giving the name as container port. What is the container port? 80. And you can have multiple container ports, whatever application you're running, whatever how you're exposing it. That's how you're defining it. So that's how easy it is. If you know YAML really well, then only Kubernetes become a lot easier. To be honest, okay, because I've seen people to actually very find it difficult to understand YAML in Kubernetes. But the fact is, if you understand YAML well and Kubernetes concept in general well, and of course the Docker concept well, then entire thing become a very easy for you. Okay, so I have seen actually many people jump into the cloud and all like all that programming, but they lack the basic networking part. They lack the basic cloud, the compute part. That's the thing. The basic, if you miss in the top level, you're gonna get problem. Similar way, you're learning Kubernetes and want to deploy something. I will be coming. I'll show you a very good thing just after this explanation. So you're learning something in Kubernetes on most of the configuration file you'll be writing. It will be on the YAML file. The reason you have to learn the basic YAML, I've already explained a lot of things. You should be stronger from before. If you never use a YAML, now you know what is YAML, how to use YAML, and this repo will be available to you for your experimentation. The document will be for tomorrow onwards. It will be available for you for the experimentation. So all good, right? So similarly, there is an Ansible playbook. Similarly, there is abstract.yml. I'll be going showing the code. No worries, I'll be not showing the slide only. I'll be showing the actual hands-on code. So there you can mention the you can write all the configuration everything in the YAML. There is AppSpec. So AppSpec is actually AWS code deploy. If you have ever used it code deploy, you can think of like you can write all that. I'll be coming in details. Just give me 5 minutes. Then you have code build spec. So if you have used the CI/CD in AWS anytime before, then you had to write a build spec.yml file. Okay, name can be something else, whatever you actually give in the code build phase. So but the format of the writing you have to write in the YAML format. Okay, similarly GitHub Actions. So see all these big players, okay, AWS, Ansible, Kubernetes, GitHub, all the big players are utilizing what? A YAML file for configuration. That's the power of the YAML. That's the reason why they have embraced this change. Okay, they could have done it with the JSON, right? But since the YAML is the more human readable, that's the reason they are utilizing the build spec. I mean, not build spec, the YAML. Now, let me show you the code, like actual hands-on code that will be easier for you guys. So, I think, yes. Okay, so first let's see the Kubernetes. So, let's Kubernetes, YAML, Kubernetes example, Nginx. So, see that part here. ABI version. Now, it's a key and the value is version 1. Kind, the key is kind, the value is pod. Metadata, it's a what? It's a actually a object, or you can call it dictionary. Inside the dictionary, the attribute is the name, which value is nginx. Okay. Now, what is the next item? Spec. Spec, again, what it is? It's a object or a dictionary. Inside that, we have containers. Containers is what? A array item. See, whatever opened. Okay, so yeah, container is a array item. Inside that, first item. So it's an array, right? So first item array. Whatever happening? Wait. Okay, so first array item is this name. The array first object attribute, or the first dictionary attribute is nginx. The name nginx. The image is the image source, whatever it is. The ports is a array item, because you see this array there. It's array item. The first item, okay, the object item is the container 80, and you can have multiple like that. Okay, so this is how we are defining a simple nginx. Now let me show you a really good thing that I found, to be honest, really great example. Suppose, but you're not sure how to write the configuration CID. I don't know if you can see it. Let me just confirm. Yes, you can see it. So you can see all this example, that config, CID, deployment, HPA, like the scaling pod security, what all these example. Okay, they have the dummy, so you can change it and you can apply to your Kubernetes cluster. All is available, and this is written very well. Okay, and I just will let's just paste it. So let me actually go to the proper one. So I'm just pasting in the comment section, but don't worry, I'm just right now pasting in the comment section. It will be available in the video description section, as well as in the this particular document I'll be sharing tomorrow. There also will be available, so you can utilize that. Okay, now let's come back to the my code again, so that I can start do the next explanations. Okay, so Kubernetes part you understood, right? Now Kubernetes secrets, again you understand the how it is, right? Right. So key, the next the value is again a key. Then inside that, now it's an array. Then array first item is the name. Test container, the first attribute. The second attribute is image. The third attribute is volume mounts. In volume mounts, it's array. So inside that array, first array item object is the name and the one mount path. So this is how it's defined. Okay, and you can say environment. So this is the volume paths. In this particular, this is the single object. Okay, see how I understood it, because of this particular spacing. This is how you have to also understand. Now this is the Kubernetes part. All the links actually in the document, in the repo, what will be sharing tomorrow with you guys. There also you'll see the link available, so you can get all the templates for you, and it's much easier that way. I also use the copy paste and utilize it. I'm using in Kubernetes from last 2 to 3 years intensively, and every single time I'm using for client, I copy from there, modify it, and utilize it. So why not you use that? Okay, I'm an experienced person. If I can do it, even if you're experienced, non-experienced, you are learning it, there is no shame utilizing it, because we are handling so many technologies. It's not possible to remember every single thing. Okay, copy it, utilize it. You know how to copy, modify, and utilize it. That other people lacks. So don't worry. Your skill is to implement, manage, not remember every single thing as a some kind of recorder. Okay. Okay, now the cloud formation, also you can see the cloud formation example, this JSON example. I think I had somewhere. I will show you, no worries, I will show you later the cloud formation normal example also. Anyway, now the app spec file. So app spec file is that when you have the AWS code deploy, then you have to create a file called app spec where you define the flow, like how should be the behavior application stop, how should be the behavior before installing of the new binaries, how should be the behavior of after installing the binaries, how should be behavior of application after the application start stage. Similarly, after the application start, you have to make a validation that application is running fine. So these are the stages. These are we called hooks. Okay, so hooks means based on event the hook will fire. The beginning, it's the version this. So in the YML .yml file, actually one part I would say is actually you don't require. you don't have to mention all these three dots. Okay, but it's optional. No worries. Now OS is a key, and the Linux is the value. Similarly, version is the key. The version is this part is the value, and let me fix it. Okay, the files is what array. You can see array and array of what objects. So object first key is the source, second key is the destination. Hooks is what array item. First array item is that sorry, not array item. See why I by mistake array item, because it's intended. But if you see look that very carefully, hooks is actually a dictionary item. The first attribute of the hooks dictionary or the object is the application stop. The second attribute is the before install. Third attribute is actually the after install. Fourth one is application start, and the fifth one is the validation. But the application stop is actually array item because there is this dash. Okay, so don't get confused. Okay, it's sometimes confusing, but if you keep working and working, it's become easy. You will understand it, even if you're just going through all that. So yeah, it's a this is an array of objects. That's why it's array, and then object. These are the attributes. So location, timeout, run as. Similarly, all other else. Okay. Now let's come to the build spec. So build spec actually utilize for the AWS code build. If you are going to make a Docker image or any binary build, whatever is the build requirement, so build and testing. So you build it and test it in the AWS code build only. So that cases we use the AWS code build. Now for to make use of AWS code build, you need a file. You have to create a file actually called buildspec.yml. Now file name could be different. You can define whatever the name you like, but it has to be a YAML file. That's the part here. So again, version is 02, run as root. Phases. Now what is the phases? Phases is actually a dictionary. See, because there is it's not beginning with that dash, so it's a dictionary or object. Inside that, first key attribute is the pre-build. Pre-build again is not a array. It's again a dictionary, or you can say object. And inside that, the comments also, the comments is not a array, it's a object. Okay, or a dictionary. So but the comments part is actually a array item. That's the reason first array item is whatever like echo, second item is actually command, third item is whatever it is. Similarly, build also, the first build attribute is actually a simple key, which is actually an object. Inside the value is actually object, and which is commands, and commands is actually an array. The reason there is a dash. So these are the things you should be remembering before writing. Suppose you want to write a build spec YAML, whatever the YAML, if you don't know the YAML part itself, it will be very complex or very problematic. Okay, you might always have a constant fear of something doing wrong. But if you know the YAML really well, this is a piece of cake. Okay, there's a reason I started. I think YAML I started learning around 3-4 years back, whenever, or even 5 years back. I don't even remember. Whenever I had the requirement, I just started. First, I learned the YAML basics, then I jumped into the other things. So that's why it's required. Now, GitHub Actions also similar way, where you have to first give the name, and here's your on keyword, like not keywords, on the on key. Now on key value is actually like an array. Again, I told you that JSON, the YAML is a superset of JSON. So some functions, some capabilities are available in the YAML. That's the reason it's actually an array item, and in array item, first key element is actually push. Now you know that item value doesn't have to have a single quote or double quote. That's the reason you are saying. Suppose I want to listen and push and say pull and say commit, whatever the event is actually officially supported. You can give the values, and based on that, the jobs will fire. Now, what is a job? Here, job actually is the dictionary or a object. First item or first attribute, also the key value is actually again another object dictionary. Inside the dictionary, it's saying run as the first key attribute is a string. The steps. Now, what is the step? Step is an array item. The first item is actually again when after this particular dash, it's saying run. It's not giving direct value, but saying run. That means is that the array of objects. First item is run, whatever it is. Second item is run. Now it's not just you can mention run. You can have based on the whatever the action you're going to use. You can say uses, for example, name instead of just simply running. Name you can give name is a common attribute you can give for everything. Instead of run as a normal Linux or Unix command, you can use the uses. So here, if you have ever used the GitHub Actions, you can use any community actions or any custom actions as it defined, and you can pass the additional key parameters to utilize as a way you want to use. Okay. and similar way other have just gone through. Save and see this part is actually, you know what why it is today. So new lines. Suppose you want to have multiple shell scripting commands. Okay, say ls, say rm, removing a file, creating a folder. If you use this particular sign, now it's a very good use case actually. If you use this is gonna fail because all will come as a space and you will see a syntax error. But now, since we are using that this, suppose I want to first ls, then I want to actually rm, then say remove any particular file name, then suppose I want to actually say creating a file, touch abc, whatever is this. Suppose then I want to move to s3, say example, uh, move say s3 mv, then say I'm giving the s3 syntax, actually the source syntax, say the file abc dot txt, then I'm moving to s3, then the bucket name, the path here. So you can do all that. It's just next line, okay? But if you use the this one, it will all come as the single line like this. It will become like ultimately when you output, it will become like this. And you don't want that. That's the problem, right? There's a reason we don't want that, and we want as a next line kind of character, like next line syntax or next line block, whatever you want to call it. Okay. That's the reason we utilize it. That's a very good use case actually. Again, the final element, the object element is the, or the array object element is the run, whatever you want to do. So this is how you can define a GitHub action. Again, now think if you jump into GitHub action directly, you didn't use the like you didn't learn the YAML before, you might find it very complicated. But now you know what is the YAML. It's become so easy. Like even a child can do it, isn't it? That's the feeling you have to have if you want to grow in a DevOps field in general. Okay. Now I think let's come back here. And now I think I've shown you the basic examples. Yes, one part I think I got missed. So that is, I think I have copied. If I've not copied, I will show you anyway. So guitar full build spec, app spec. Okay, let me quickly show you guys. So see, if you have seen my past video, there is a particular Ansible course I have made for the beginners. Okay, if you never see that or done it before, I will give the links in the comments. You can watch it later. No worries. So of course, if you're watching on the YouTube, not on LinkedIn, you can follow and you can message me. But if you want to look at the videos and the existing courses and all, completely available for free, so you can go to YouTube channel and watch it. See, these are the kind of example I did for the particular Ansible demo. There, I have a sample. Says sample inventory example. Let me just show you playbook. Playbook sample. See, here also I utilize the YAML, and again, sure, this is optional for the YAML. Now I'll give a name that particular. I don't know if you can see that very carefully. Yes, now I think now you guys can see it. So first, what it is? It's beginning with a what? A array, isn't it? Beginning with array itself. The first item, object item is name, install, and verify Apache installation. Second, in second, it's all the first is becoming with array, and then it's the object, and the object attributes are like this, or the object keys are like this. Okay, so the host is the app servers, whatever the host file you have, you want to specify, to be honest. The verse, now verse is not array. Okay, if you look at that very carefully, there is no dash. That doesn't mean, that means that it's not array. It's a object or a dictionary. So verse, then what are the attributes? HTTP ports 80, max lines 200. Okay, now remote user, what are the remote user you have? You can, like, this is the key and this is the value. Become root or not, that's the thing you have to mention. Become sudo, that's what it is. So task, now what is task? Task is actually a array item. See, task is, data type is array. So first item is that, or the task where actually you want to execute is the name. Ensure again, this is what defining as array. The first here is saying first object name attribute is ensure Apache installation, whatever the value it is. Then the second key name is ansible.builtin.apt. That's the key name. Okay, And what is the data type of this particular this key is actually a object or a dictionary type. That's the reason it's saying that first attribute of this particular dictionary or object is Apache 2, like name Apache 2, second key is the state latest. Similar way, we have the second array object of this particular task. Then object is saying again, this is the defining the it's a array item, second array item. The items first key, that is the name, ensure Apache is running. Second key is Ansible built-in key service. Inside that particular this particular the value of this particular key is actually a object or a dictionary. So inside that object, the first attribute is the name, and the second attribute is the what is the state you're expecting. Okay, that is the started state. If you want to stop it, you can mention stopped, or you can do restart it. So you can mention restarted. So this is how we can define a Ansible demo, sorry, Ansible playbook. So these are the real life example that I've shown you guys. Okay, now let me come back to the presentation. Now the last slide I'll be covering how to use Python to read any any that any particular YAML file. Okay, so let me show you guys that. I think yes. Okay, so it's quite easy. I will say if you have never used Python before but wanted to learn, go to my YouTube channel and you will find the Python for cloud and DevOps. I didn't but why at the DevOps side, think about the DevOps engineer as well. And there you can learn the Python very easy way. Just getting started and get hands on. If you want to go through in-depth courses like Udemy and other places for cheap amount, you can have greater courses. Fine. Okay. So the Python part here, what I'm doing here. First, I'm importing a YAML, like YAML module, inbuilt Python YAML module, to be more specific. Then I'm giving like if name, then execute this file. The like main file execution, you can say the very say the reserve key. Okay. Now, what I'm doing here, I'm actually first loading the sample YAML. I'll show you the sample YAML. I've already shown you, but again, don't worry, I'll show you and I will explain a lot of things. Now, I'm first I'm loading as the readable stream or actually read stream. Then I'm loading in YAML.load. Then I'm specifying the stream where we have the data, the read object. Okay. And then in the loader, we're utilizing the YAML full loader. Okay. Then what you're trying, then once the is YAML loading the data, it's loading as dictionary. And once it's loading as dictionary, I'm showing you as the key value, but you can again, suppose you want to use as a dictionary or you want to pass on as a JSON, you can do that quite easily. Just you have the dictionary, right? And you know how to convert a dictionary to JSON string. Simply use the JSON, like import JSON, and then JSON done dumps. It will convert everything into a JSON string. I'll show you. I'll show you anyway. And again, I have given the step. First, import the Python inbuilt YAML module. Then add like means open any file. Then use the YAML load function. Then you will find like and mention the stream data into the dictionary. It will convert it. Okay, and then we can loop through the key and values, just like if you see even the JSON data or any dictionary data, how you do the loop through, it's same here. Okay, no difference. Now enough talk. I know you guys want to see in action how it works, and I will show. So, and after this, I will answer any question that you might have. I will go through all the questions here. Okay, in the live. So I think you guys now can see the code. Let's open the sample YAML. Okay. So in sample, not JSON, sample YAML. So you can see, you already know that basic will start, but if it's a YAML file, I think you can ignore it. Name, the Sandip Das, age is this, city, Kolkata, skills, DevOps, cloud, programming, mentoring, communication. Laptop, it's a dictionary. You can see there is no dash. That means a complete dictionary, and these are the key and the value of this particular dictionary. Now, similar with the cars is actually array of objects. So it's array, then model, and like these are the objects, right? Now, boolean value, two way of boolean, making boolean, true or false, yes or no. You can use both. Then, of course, you can use the JSON like schema definition. So JSON map, it's actually a key value, or you can say a dictionary or object. What your map or map values, whatever you want to call it. Or you can call it multiple ways, whatever you call it. So you can define object here like this, and you can mention the arrays also like this. You can see the array items 1 2 3 2 1 and string, whatever, even object also you can mention same way. Now I've already mentioned the folded. Suppose you're utilizing this particular that that greater than key, then all will, like, when you're printing, I will show you what happening. It will come to single line, okay? And this enter I've used like entering, right? It will become a space. That's what it does. Now little block, whatever literally you are making any change, enter, tabs, and whatever it is, it will it will print or it will save the special character data and show you exactly same way. So suppose you are showing in the command line, or you're showing in the, say, web page, wherever you're going to show, it will show the exact value. Now I'll show you anyway. Now somewhere here we're using the pointers and the alias. That also I explained how it works. If you are not sure, again you can like rewind back to that particular part, again explain, and you can see the explanation. Just simply I will just explain anyways, already I've explained. So it will simply it's how you're defining the variable, and like with the and sign, and then this is the value. Then you're utilizing the variable value here with the pointers. So this is the pointer alias key and the variable name. This is how you can utilize the same key in other places. Okay. Now enough talk. Let me show you the Python environment leader. It's quite simple. You can see, right? Simply open the example YAML that I've shown you, that in the read mode, and then we are using the YAML.load function. If you want to ever see what the load function does, you can click like that way and you can see what it's doing. But I'll not go that depth. Okay. Otherwise, you may see another 1 hour discussing that. I'll not do that. So yeah. So you're using YAML inbuilt module, then the load function, and in the function you are supplying the read stream, which is here. And as a loader, we're utilizing YAML, not full loader. It has a own loader, so it's simply utilizing that. Then after the load happens, is loading. As I think you might have already seen that JSON.load. Okay, it's kind of that same way. So yeah, is loading into the, like, it's converting the YAML data into dictionary, and then we can actually go through all the data. So for key and value in the dictionary items, we are printing the value, key and values, and that's it. I will show after the normal show. I will show you the how we can convert this particular dictionary data into JSON, and you can pass to other places like other APIs, response, wherever it is. You can do that. So let me run this one. Clean it up and run it. So Python 3, then the YAML, this particular file, YAML, so Python YAML reader.py. Again, this repo will be available for everyone tomorrow onwards. I will share in the LinkedIn. If you're not following me LinkedIn, do follow me on LinkedIn. And if you're not subscribing to YouTube, do subscribe to YouTube. Both is required. Okay. So running it, and you can see how its value is getting printed. So we'll go to the, like, this is, you already have explained this particular Python file. So I'll go to sample again, and sample YAML JSON. See the name is Sandip Das. Age is 30. Similar, I've printed all the key and values, right? See the skills here is converted like dictionary. So skills is kind of JSON way is printed, right? So DevOps, cloud, programming, monitoring, communication. Now for the loop, it's an object. That's the reason. See, not loop, it's laptop. So laptop, it's an object notation, and name, the key and the value, key and the value. Like, and say cars was actually object, the array of objects. That's the reason model, then color. See, model inside the another object, color, rate, and name. Similar way in the second array item, the model, then color and name. Okay. Similar way, has you can see the is married and has child become boolean. Both are true now. JSON map, you can see this keeps same way, because that's how JSON works. And only thing is that it's a double quote JSON, but when we are printing as an object, like object print or simple, like we are printing the key values, then it's coming as simple single quote. So JSON sequence is the array printing. You can maintain in an array also inside a YAML file. Heading part, see why I tell the difference. See, heading part, I've given new lines, right? 1, 2, 3 new lines I've entered, but it's coming in single line now. That's the part I said. You should not use the, if you want new lines like sequential execution kind of requirement you have, you should be utilizing this, not this. If you want to show something as single line but want to, for the readability betterment, you can enter, you can keep that way. But for usability point of view, you should use this particular this pipe keyword. Okay. Now this, see what, however I maintain the topic, then see space, I've given one space and it came exactly same way. Then however I maintain this also came exactly same way. So all the enters I have entered here in this particular text, that all maintained here. And the value part, see the referencing, key value referencing. So somewhere, and this particular like somewhere reference part, I've given like I mentioned the pointer, the variable and the value here, and here I have didn't mention the test value, but just reference using the alias, the sum value part. Okay, and you can see ultimately in the somewhere the value is test value, and in some value referencing also the value is the again exactly same test value. Okay, now I hope you got understanding of how this, of course, how the YML works, how to write it, what are the basic data types, how to handle it, how to like mention array objects, dictionaries, all this complicated thing you have in mind is very easy to handle like that. And of course the final part I have shown you how to use Python YAML data. Now let's say how to convert the data into JSON. You can use that. So let's import or at the line import JSON, and that add this particular. So what you have to do, I'm converting the data into JSON. So JSON dumps. Then I have to give this particular variable dictionary. Then I'm storing the value in the JSON data string, and I'm simply printing it. So let's do it, and you can see it will give the value in JSON. Okay, but see, can you read it that way, like you read it the simple that sample YAML? See how simple readable, but this is not, isn't it? Until you make it prettify, you can make prettify. It's not that easy, right? So one part I will say, like before going through other complicated, I mean, other question answer thing. So let me quickly show you one thing. But I will show you the JSON, not JSON, the YAML parser. So what happens, sometime if you're working somewhere very quickly, you're making modification and want to copy paste the things. So go to the YAML linters, okay, online, and say for this one, like any go to, like all are very good. Okay, so this whatever, say this one, and I have say copying this one and pasting here. If it's valid, it will say valid YAML, and say I'm doing something wrong. Okay, say, say unable to parse. So if I do something wrong, it's unable to parse. So this is the reason. If you're going to make in quick change kind of thing, if you're using any editor, fine with the YAML plugin and loaded and linting enabled. But if it's not, then it's better to use a validator like codebeautify.org and all that. Again, the link I will mention in my document when I share tomorrow, and in the comment section tomorrow. Today I have to do a lot of stuff others, so I will mention, okay, everything mentioned, so you can come back and check, or you can follow me on LinkedIn, and you'll get notified whenever I upload like the document and share it with you guys, right? So do that. And now is the QA session. So until like next 15 minutes, I will answer whatever the question you have. I will answer everything. I know that there's a lot of thing going on. So yes, I will answer. Now, I hope you like this entire tutorial. I want to keep is a from very scratch, and I hope that you got all the concepts here. Okay. Um, yes, you get the document, K. Subramaniam, so no worries. If I want to expert in language, then YAML or JSON. You have to think what background you have. If you have a programming background, you should learn the JSON first and then also the YAML. But if you are in programming in the say if you want to expert, now it's not a language; it's just a data formatting. Okay? That's the first part I would say. Then the second thing is that uh, if you want to master something, master the JSON first, programming background, then the YAML. If you're in the operation background or in the DevOps, then you first master the YAML, then the JSON. But you have to learn both things. Okay, it's good. People reply to others. It's a good thing. What is your opinion about using different code editors you do used or will use to write YAML codes for any tools? So yeah, you should be utilizing AWS. So all my mind is AWS. So yeah, you have to use the VS Code and like Visual Studio Code with the YAML plugin. Okay, or YAML that what do we call it? We call it extension. So YAML extension you should be using. Is that Vagrant code also based on YAML? I worked long time back on the Vagrant, so I don't even remember. Sorry, man. Okay. If they ask question and interview, we don't remember. So how I can answer the interview question based on what are the question they're asking. But if they're asking like how to define an array in YML, how to configure YML, you should be able to answer. Keep my document handy. Just before going to any DevOps interview in general, just watch my video again and you're all good to go. So yeah, it's going to end at 9. So it's already 1 hour. So 1 hour 30 minutes course. It will like not course the session. It will end in 15 minutes. No worries. So it's Shwadip saying, can I get a sample course on GitHub links? Yes, I will share the link either today or tomorrow, but I will share it. No worries. It's the Naveen saying, is it required to learn Python and JSON also? I work in MNC operations of dev where I use. If you want to go to like greater heights in your career, I will definitely say yes. Learn at least one programming. If your target is programming or DevOps, that kind of field, then you should be learning about one programming language. Python is easier. So yes, Python and JSON you have to learn anyway. Is it required to learn Python, JSON also? I want to say version dev where I used. Yeah, you have to learn both. Gopal saying, are you going to strategize in Azure architecture? Not immediately. I have no immediate plan on Azure yet. Let's complete the Kubernetes sessions that I want to complete. First, of course, Go Cloud Architects DevOps course that I'm doing, working so hard. I have to finish them. And after that's done, say this month, or maybe within, say, whenever it's done, then I will let's start making my Go courses pending and the Kubernetes. So I will try to make progress in both. So in week or like some gap, I will release it. So that's my immediate plan at the moment. Okay. Okay. Any more comments? Otherwise, I will simply end it. Looks like no more questions. Uh, just to be clear, let's see. Again, let me in the comments also share the YML org that site that you guys can utilize. How can we trust some of the existing templates you asked to modify and paste? How can we trust of existing template? So yeah, that actually maintained by good engineers. That I will just give. See, of course, you need to have your own understanding, own. It's the question like I can copy any code from the say Stack Overflow or something and paste it. No, we copy it, we modify it to fit our use case, and then use it. Right. So you have to do the same thing. You copy from other place, then you have to modify based on your requirement, your usage, right? That's what experienced engineers do because we don't remember every single thing. We sometimes we have our own references, own documentation, everything. Some things like it's not always that the problem will come from our known things, and we never expect that. If you become senior engineers, you expect unexpected, like something will unexpectedly come. We think that way. So, and if something unexpected problem comes and it's not in our reference base, our own documentation, or something, we simply go to like search it, we get some solution, we find out what's the best one, and then we experiment it, and we make the modification based on our requirements, and we implement it. That's how we do it. Okay. I think that's fine. No further comments. If that's it, then I will start the session today. I mean, I will complete the session today. And yes, this particular document and the GitHub repo, I'll be sharing with guys. I will see if I try tomorrow, today. If I'm just not able to, because I have to make some minor modification. That's the reason. Then I will try to release today. I'll just think about maybe tomorrow I will release. Okay, maybe around 10 or 10:30 in my LinkedIn. If you're watching in LinkedIn, just if you're not following me, follow that. If you're in YouTube, you come back around 10:30, and then in the description section as well in the first comment section, you'll find this particular the documents or the referential sites. Okay, everything's there. Okay, then. Bye, everyone. Have a nice day ahead. And tomorrow is holiday. So enjoy yourself, enjoy with family. And I'll be doing that. My daughter is kind of crying, so I have to go anyway. Okay, then. Then, tata. Bye. And I'll share the document first in LinkedIn, then in YouTube. Okay. Bye.